Okay. Hello, everybody. Again, Aaron here from Agro Fitness. Today, we're going to be doing a 30-minute ARC-7 Defuse session. So we've mainly been doing a lot of the quantum work for the past few weeks, or storm, depending on which channel you're following. Whereas Defuse is kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. So ARC-7 Defuse is more about stretching, core, relaxation and mindfulness techniques for the purposes more of recovery. So what we're going to do is we're going to be doing some stretches mainly for the lower body and the hips this morning. We'll obviously start with some warm-up and just get the blood flowing around the body. Now all of this is a matter of do what you can. I will show you the movements, of course, and if we need to slightly adapt them for any reason, then of course we can do. So please make sure you have enough room, you've got some space around you, and of course by joining this you acknowledge that you are safe to do so and you are safe to perform some online fitness training. So let's make a start then. If we're all ready, we've got water and space. So we're just going to start with some torso rotations just to warm up our lumbar spine a little bit here. Side to side. Now we're going to be starting with a bunch of dynamic stretches to start out with, and basically what that means is the more we do and the longer we're going for, the further round we want to take our range of movement. So as we start to loosen off, we can try and reach a little bit further, and we can let our heels lift off the floor a little bit as well. Just making sure we don't twist too much through our knees. Okay, we've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going to do a good morning. So we can place our hands behind our head. We're going to keep our back straight. We're going to fold forward, keeping a little bend in our knees. And here we should be feeling the stretch coming to our hamstrings and a little bit into our lower back and glutes as well. So steadily getting lower and lower as we go. Nice and gentle. So of course this is an online training workout, well, not so much a workout per se, but whatever time of the day you decide to do this, it's going to be very beneficial to you. Mainly just to release some tension, and this is why we'll be focusing on the lower body and the hips today. There's no doubt a lot of us are doing a lot of work from home at the moment, sat around, so we need to kind of release that area of the body to prevent any postural problems. Good, one more. Okay, we're going to take our legs a little bit wider, toes facing forward. We're going to fold over to the floor or as far as you can go. And we're just going to do some little gentle reaches forward and behind. Forward and behind. Doesn't matter how far down you can go, even if you're just in the middle here, but do be careful of your lower back there. You should still be releasing more into the back of the legs. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I'd like us to come into an upside down V or a downward facing dog here. And we're going to pedal our calves like so. So we're going to push one to the floor. We're going to lift the other. We're going to stretch out the calves here. So because it's dynamic stretching, it involves movement. We're not going to be holding anything. As a good tip, pre-workout or pre any kind of work, you don't want to do static stretching. What you might end up actually doing is kind of switching your brain off to all the recognized and stored movement patterns that your brain has come to know. So think of a squat. You don't have to think too much about a squat or walking, but if you did some static stretching, you might actually inhibit your brain's ability to remember those movement patterns, so you almost have to relearn them, then you do your work. So we want to do dynamic stretching. Good, 3, 2, and 1. Let's walk it back. Come up nice and tall. Reach the arms up. Fold forward. And we're going to walk the hands out. Back into that plank position, and we're going to come back. Bring it up. Let's do that 2 more times. So fold over. Take it back. Deep breath in and out. Nice. Okay, to finish off, just getting our heart rate up and the blood flowing, we're going to do some squats with an overhead reach. So we're going to take it down, we're going to reach our arms up overhead. Option if it's a little bit of a struggle to do both of these bits together, just focus on doing the squat. So belly drawn in, if you're trying to touch your belly button to your spine. Good, we do 3 more. 2. Last one. Alright, nice work. Shake it out. Grab yourself some water. Because of course releasing anything in the muscles might kind of flush anything that might have got stuck in there. So it's important to drink plenty of water, help your body flush everything out. That's how it's pretty hot in my living room today. Alright, so we're going to take it down. We're going to take a seat. Up, our legs out at a 45-degree angle. What we're going to do here is 10 times. We're going to take a deep breath in, and we're going to reach forward as far as you can go. I'm going to bring it back. Take a deep breath in, and fall forward. Alright, so that'll be number 1 there. 9 more to go. Take it back. Take a deep breath in, and out. Back. Let's see if we can reach a little bit further as we go. Don't rush it. Pick it up. Now you might experience some discomfort with the stretches, and that's perfectly normal and fine. However, if it becomes painful, that's an indication that we might need to back off a little bit. So discomfort is normal. Pain is an indication to chill out a tad. Okay. This is 7. Breath in, deep breath out. One more time then. And coming in. Okay, so we're going to take one leg and we're going to place the sole of our foot on the inside of our thigh. Now, if your knee can't quite get down to the floor, that's fine. If it ends up being up here, that's okay. Or even if the leg's down below, that's also okay. We just want to avoid placing any pressure into the side of the knee joint. So we're going to bring it here. We're going to turn our body and our chest to face our outer knee. We're going to raise our outer hand. We're going to place the back of our hand towards our foot. I'm going to bring it over. We're going to reach. Now, muscles that are being stretched here. Now, we're going to be feeling it in here, predominantly. Just found out I have a hole in my t-shirt. So into the lats, into the sides, through the obliques, and also on the leg here, our straight leg, we've got our hamstring, and a little bit of our adductors as well. It's the inner thigh. Nice work, bring it up. I'm going to do 10 rotations in this position, just as far as is comfortable for you. Five, 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10. Okay, let's bring this leg up. Let's go on the other side. So just gently changing it over. Now, as you can see on this side, my left leg is not going to go down to the floor. Right leg drops down a lot more. So again, it's not too much of a problem if it doesn't go all the way down. Just make sure we're not putting any excess pressure on the side of our knee. We're going to reach, turn the face away, and bring the arm over. Almost as if you're trying to touch both hands together at the foot. Keeping the body twisted outwards, chest facing away. Remember to keep breathing with this. It's quite easy to hold your breath. Do breathe. Just a little bit longer. See if it's going to come down a bit further. Stretch a little bit more. Really well. Coming back and work into those rotations again just as far as is comfortable for you. Letting the head follow along with the torso. So we're going to be moving into stretching out the hip flexors next before we do the front of the legs and the back of the legs. The reason we're going to do the hip flexors first is the psoas muscle, which is the main one we're going to be hitting, actually connects into your lower back, or more a rotation. Okay, so it actually connects into your lower back. And if we think about the structure of the hip flexors, they start here and they come down and into the front of your legs. So they kind of come down like that around your spine. Now, if we get lower back pain, it could be the fact that the hip flexors are quite tight, because they could be pulling your lower back inwards and tilting your pelvis. So really good stretches and really good muscles to try and release, particularly if you do a lot of office work or you're sat down a lot. So for this one, we need to take one leg out in front. Now we're just gonna relax our back foot to start out with. We need to take our stance wide enough so we can push our body weight forward. Now it's going to be the back leg, top of the back leg here. That's where we're going to be feeling it. Resting on your thigh is perfectly fine. And we want to avoid kind of leaning back too much with the body. It's more pushing the hips forward. We're just going to stay here for another 30 seconds. As you feel the tension ease off and the stretch tension feels less, deepen a little bit more. Reintroduce that tension, and with that we can increase your flexibility. Nice deep breaths, nice and chilled. That's it, nice and relaxed. Okay. Gently take it back, shifting back, and we're going to change sides. And as you can see the other way, so nice and relaxed. Front leg out far enough that your knee's not going to travel over your toes too far. And we just push and introduce that stretch on our back leg. Chest up nice and high. Good, just kind of tuning into what your body's feeling here. Good, deepen again if you can. Side seems a little bit tighter for me today. Gently coming back. I'd like us to bring ourselves down into a child's pose stretch. So knees together, feet together behind, sitting on your heels if that's comfortable, and stretching your arms away, taking your forehead nice and close to the floor if that's comfortable, but if we need to, we can rest our head on our arms and our hands. Do a deep breath in as you breathe out, coming up. Okay, so let's move now to working into the hamstrings and the quadriceps. So we're going to come back up to standing for these ones, at least for our hamstrings. So we're going to take a step forward, and here we're going to push our bum and our hips backwards until we feel a stretch come in the top of our back leg. Now you're going to see a lot of people doing this, pointing their toes up. We want to target the hamstrings more, so we need to keep our foot flat. Because what can happen if we lift our toes is you actually start to feel it more in the back of the knee, and if the calves are too tight at that point, it's actually going to start pulling on the tendons and the ligaments in the back of your knee and not on the muscles. So from a safety perspective, when we're really trying to target the hamstrings, let's keep our feet flat. Right, let's try and push our hips back a little bit more and reach our arms away. So we're really digging deep into the hamstrings now. Okay, if you can, gently lowering the hands to the floor. Still keeping that tension in the back leg, or front leg. Good. Bending and coming up. And let's change sides. So switching it over, and I'll show you from a slightly different angle this time. We're going to push our hips back until we get that tension and stretch coming in the back of our leg. If we're going to rest on a leg, make sure it's the bent one. I've seen a fair few times where people have lent on their straight leg and accidentally push their knee down and lock their knee out, which we don't want to do. So nice and relaxed here. Just letting your body open up and letting the muscles relax. And let's reach our arms forward and push our hips back a little bit more. Good, deep breaths. When you feel ready, if you can, either stay where you are or take your hands down to the floor. Okay, bending the knees and coming up. Nice. So we're not going to do it in this session because we haven't quite got enough time, but with the hamstrings, we've only really stretched in one dimension there. However, if you think about it, it's quite a large area on the back of the leg where the muscles are, so we can stretch simply by changing the angle of our foot. We can work into 1, 2, and 3 parts, the 3 muscles that make up your hamstrings group. So you can change the angle there to work a little bit deeper around the entirety of the back of the leg. But let's do the front of the leg. So we've got 2 options for this one. Most of us have probably done this type of stretch before. Standard quadriceps. So standing is like so. Bring the knees together, push your hips forward so we can get a little bit more into the hip flexors and into the top of the leg. Keep our chest up nice and high. Hold on to something for balance if you need to. But the other option to do this one is exactly the same. Instead of standing, you're lying down on the floor and you're pushing your hips towards the floor instead. So I'm actually going to do these ones lying down. Now that I'm down here, get nice and chilled. Hopefully at this point already, we should be starting to feel a little bit looser, a little bit nicer. So right, stay in that stretch. Unfortunately, this is my injured leg, this one, so I'm just being a little bit careful personally. And let's relax that side. And we'll go onto the other, and I'll do it standing with you this time. So other side. Grabbing the foot, knees together, hips forward, chest up nice and high. Having a bit of fun with the balance. That's it. Always hold onto your earlobe. Wave your hand in the air for balance wherever you need to here. Again, keeping the hips pushed forward. Feeling the tension pretty much melt away as time goes on. Okay, relaxing that leg. We're going to take our legs wide again. Toes forward, we're going to fold over, and then we're going to take our body over to one foot. So reaching for that one side here. And we're going to gently walk our hands over to the other. Back into the middle and behind. So take the hands as far behind as they can go. Again, making sure we still have a bend in our knees. And we're going to walk our hands back through the legs, out in front. Bring ourselves back into that upside down V position. And we're going to pedal our calves again. So pushing one heel to the floor whilst the other lifts. And stretching deep into the calves. So we're going to do a few singles, and I'm going to introduce some new timings. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, and on the third we're going to hold it. And let's do that again. So 1, 2, and hold it. And again, 1, 2, and hold. 1, 2, and hold. Again, once more on each side now. 1, 2, and hold. 1, 2, and hold it. Nice, both heels down. Walk the feet or the hands in. Coming up. Okay, nearly there. So we're going to do a little bit more work into the glutes, into the outer side of the hip, into the IT band, and that should take us to the end for this morning, or this afternoon, whenever you end up watching this video today, or tomorrow. So we're going to do a pretzel stretch. You might not know it as being called a pretzel stretch, but it's what I know it as being called as. So we're going to take a seated position. We're going to lie back. We're going to cross one leg over the other. Now I want to try and get our knee to be pointing outwards, but if that's not going to happen, it's about 45 degrees, that's okay. From here, we're going to lift the other leg, reach through, grabbing on the hamstrings and the back of the leg, tuck our chin in, and we're going to pull the leg in together. So, it should be the outer side of the glute muscles, and we should be feeling this stretch. Now we want to tuck our chin in to try and get some spinal work in there to elongate the spine. However, you might find that uncomfortable. So if that's the case, just relax your head back down to the floor. Just focus on pulling everything in, and you can use your elbow to anchor out this knee to prevent it from coming in. Kind of hard to see on camera. Just like shimmy myself around this way. It's good enough. As you can see, I'm using my elbow to gently push my knee outwards, but I'm not putting any pressure on the joint itself. Really important there. Okay, let's straighten out the other leg and see if we can pull it in a little bit more. Good, let's take it down. Leg to the floor. Unhook. I'm going to shimmy round. And we'll do the other side. So take it down. Knee out. Reach through. Anchor it all up. Tucking your chin in if that's comfortable. And most of the stretches that we've done today, you might find that one side feels a lot different to the other, or it might feel quite equal. Again, perfectly normal. But it might indicate that there's some muscular imbalances there if you have experienced that, and that's something that we can work on. So gently pulling in. And then let's straighten up the other leg. See if we can pull in a little bit more. Again, taking care that we're not putting any pressure and we're not pulling in any of our joints. So my hands aren't in the back of the knee, they're just underneath or just above, but I would recommend more keep it underneath. Good. Bend the leg, let it go, take it to the floor, unhook, and bring yourself up. So to finish off, we need to be standing. So for the IT band, it runs down the side of the leg, really common muscle to get tight. That's not really necessarily a muscle, but it's a really common area of the body to get tight, which can cause issues in pulling the kneecaps outwards. So let's stretch these ones out. So for this one, you just need to take one foot behind the other, both feet flat on the floor as best as you can. Hello curtain, and just fall forward. So similar to how we did the hamstrings, but we need to try and keep a little bend in both of our knees. I'll show you from the side. Now it should kind of feel a little bit like a hamstring stretch, but more down to the side. The band, as the name might suggest, pretty much runs from your iliac crest around the top of your hips, pelvis, down the side to the tibia. Bring it up, change over. One side might feel a lot easier to actually perform than the other. That's okay, you just go with whatever range that you have. Nice and steady, bit of a balance game again. Well done. Bring it up. Nice wide, and we'll just finish with some more torso rotations, just to chill out. You're drinking plenty of water throughout the day. Help flush any nasties out that we might have dislodged doing all of this. Good. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms up. Fold over, breathing out. Bend the knees, bring it up. And over. 2 more. Last one. And bring it up to center. Well done, fantastic work. So that completes is just a nice little 30-minute ARC-7 Defuse session. So I do run some more of these in the week, a little bit longer on a Wednesday evening. Hopefully you enjoyed it and feel that you have benefited, and this is something you can return to every other day. You can do as many times as you'd like, and you can see how your flexibility and your movement capability develops as you progress through stretching complexes, and it's good to learn how to do them and what does what as well. So again, thank you for joining us today, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you end up watching it. This video will be posted on Facebook and my Instagram as well, so do feel free to follow those channels, or if you have any questions regarding health and fitness stuff, wing a message over. As always, it has been a pleasure, and I shall see you all again very soon.